15 seconds. Guidance internal. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. Engines on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engines running. Launch commenced. Liftoff. We have liftoff at 9:34 a.m.
The Dennis Miller Show. 866-509-7268.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to the show. Joining us now, one of our heroes. And let me brag on him for a second, because I've always found that our most heroic men always loathe to, and women, loathe to brag on themselves. He's been awarded 2 Silver Stars, 5 bronze medals with V for Valor in combat. He has a new book, retired Navy SEAL Chris Cow, and his new book is called Sniper. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Well, thank you, sir, for having me.
Thanks for your service, and thanks for protecting my skinny ass back here. And we appreciate it, baby. I know that, like I said, there's a lot of humility in our greatest heroes. The book, though, the book sellers will always elaborate with comments from the book, and you are thought to be the best sniper we have ever had, with over 150 recorded kills, and I sincerely want to thank you for your service, sir, and like I said, protecting the homeland. Tell me about what your newfound fame is like. Is it odd for you? Is it where are you at with all this, Chris?
It's definitely stressful. I'm not used to this, but it is mind-blowing to see all the support from the people, and I just keep trying to reiterate to them that, hey, I didn't write this book about me. It was to kind of awaken and make awareness for the troops that are serving now. But Marcus Luttrell called and said, hey, you're the face for the vets right now, and it's your duty to take it in. So I'm just, as long as people are going to listen, I'm going to keep promoting the troops. Yeah, you should, and we're thankful you are. Listen, I know you guys, there's nothing that matters to you more than your brethren. I see the dedication of the book. We've had Mark Lee's mother, Debbie Lee, on our show to talk about her work with the organization called America's Fighting Warriors. I'm less familiar with the other fallen hero. Is it Ryan Job or Job? I'm sorry, I'm just not as familiar with him. No problem. It is Job. And the book dedicated to those two, like I said, the selflessness of our guys and gals. Tell me a little bit about these men who you've dedicated the book to. Well, both of them, they died in service of their country, and both of them were protecting my butt and, died right next to me. And their stories never really made it out there, and besides inside the community and the families that were involved. So I wanted to bring them out there and kind of set them up on a pedestal and talk about how heroic and brave they were. Yeah, and nothing means more to these men and women than the approbation of their fellow soldiers, and that whole circle is a tight one. Tell me, before you go over and become a Navy SEAL and thought to be, as they say, the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history, what leads up to that? You're a country boy, or tell me a little bit about your background, Chris. I'm definitely a country boy. I was born and raised here in Texas. Grew up riding horses, working the cattle ranch, and a big hunter. And whenever I watch Sergeant York, which I love that movie, I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's an oldie but goodie. But I'm always intrigued. Is it just a movie thing when a guy who's a great shot takes his thumb and wets it and wipes the end of the scope? Is there something actual behind that, Chris? Well, back before they had scopes, they would definitely try to put shine on the that's what he's doing. Sight post down there. That way, that's the thing that is the most in focus, is that front sight. So they would definitely wipe it down so it would have the shine and be able to pick it up, because it's all black. All right, now there you go. In a second, I know what they're always doing there. Now, you're a hunter, obviously, and I guess amongst your friends, when you guys would go out, would they say, "Geez, Chris, you seem like an amazing shot"? Were you thought to be the best shot of the group? No, sir. It was my brother was definitely a better shot than me, and growing up, you're not really hunting in groups. You all come back together, but then when it's time to go hunt, you go out by yourself and set up in your different areas. And so you don't really critique each other's shooting.
Right. We're talking to Chris Cow, American Sniper, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. All right, so you enter the service of your own volition, and how does it start going down the road to you being assigned sniper duty? How's that happen?
Well, at the time, new guys weren't supposed to be snipers. They wanted you to demonstrate that you had the responsibility and the capabilities to be able to go to the school and pass it. So after my first deployment, my chief put me in, or asked me if it was okay if he put me in for sniper school, and I said, "Oh, yes, sir."
And what is when you go to sniper school? Is there any theorem in class, or is it just you out under the hot sun probably for 10 hours a day just picking off targets? Tell me about sniper school. I'm intrigued by that.
Well, our sniper school is 3 months long, and we definitely took a lot of the material from the Marine Sniper School, which is the one that we used to go to. But then we kind of evolved it and added more things. You start out working with all the radios, cameras, computers, trying to get all the digital stuff down so you can send intel back. But then it goes into the stalking phase, which is where you put the ghillie suit on, you look like a big bush, and trying to sneak up onto your target, get set up, take your shot without being seen. And then the final stage is the shooting phase, where we have so many different weapon systems issued to us that we have to learn each individual one. So it definitely takes us a little bit longer to go through all of our rifles. You have to be proficient, and you're tested on each one.
We're talking to Chris Cow. He is the author of American Sniper, autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. What's your maiden voyage like, my friend? What's it like the first night that you walk out of a camp or with a night scope, or walk out during the day and know that your job is to find somebody who's an integral cog in the enemy forces and end him? What's that day feel like as you go to the job?
Well, it's definitely, your nerves are going, because most of my operations as a sniper, I wasn't going out alone. I was going out with my guys. You know, you have to have all the security when you're in the city, but you're nervous because you're out there to protect the guys that are on the ground. I wasn't given someone's dossier and said, go kill this guy. It was overwatch and protect either the local population or the troops that were on the ground. And you know that if you fail,
yes,
these people are going to die. So it's definitely a mind game.
Yeah, it's almost too much for a human being to have that responsibility, but thank God it's in the hands of men and women like you. I do know that I'm reading some of the excerpts here, just shaking your head, the quandaries that must happen in a nanosecond out there in real time. A red-hot shell from a machine gun. Talk about this story. You can't stop shooting, but what happens, and what decision do you have to make?
Well, we were in a firefight, a gun battle. And on top of a roof, in the middle of this firefight, a belt-fed machine gun was on the side of me. As the brass is ejected out of that weapon, it's burning hot. Well, I didn't have my boots laced up all the way. I was wearing hiking boots, and then my pants kind of draped over it, leaving an opening for that brass to fall right down in between my leg and then my boot. And I was wearing low socks, and it stuck to my skin, and it definitely burned. But, it's not like I have superhuman strength or this great sense of pain. It was just the fact of I didn't want to die, and it was more important to me to keep in the fight and protect the guys instead of pulling that thing out of my boot. So when the firefight finally ended and I pulled it out, there was a lot of my skin stuck to it.
Well, yes, you're right. Not dying, the prime directive. You can, you've got a scar for life, but at least you've got it for life. Chris Cow, American Sniper, the autobiography, the most lethal sniper in the U.S. military history. And then I read this one, Chris, and it just shakes my head when I think about young men like you out there having to make these calls. Tell me about the situation where you realize the one about the Iraqi child, and this is unbelievable, the decisions you have to make in a nanosecond. Can you tell that story to the listeners, please?
Well, it definitely, and I don't know what version of the book you had, but there was an Iraqi woman and a child that were in this village, which was during the initial push into Iraq. We were trying to be out ahead of the Marine Corps not to make it safe for them, but try to make it a little bit easier, because these guys were running hard and definitely had a fight on their hands. So we were trying as hard as we could just to help out a little bit. So we got into the village before them. As they're coming in, the villagers start to come out, to show their support and that they don't want to fight. Let them know, hey, this is a peaceful town. You can come on through. Well, a woman was standing there. She had a grenade in her hand and pulled the pin, acted like she was going to greet the Marine Corps. And I was watching this through my scope, and I was relaying everything to my chief, everything I was watching. And he told me, he goes, that's a Chinese grenade. You have to take her out. And I definitely hesitated. I didn't want to take the shot. This was the first time ever that I even was put in a position where I had to kill someone. So not only now am I having to figure out if morally can I kill a man, but it's not even a man, it's a woman. So I hesitated, and I didn't want to do it. We tried to get a hold of the Marine Corps to say, hey, I'd prefer them to do it over me. We couldn't raise them on the radio. So my chief is sitting there screaming at me, you have to do it. You have to do it. Take the shot. And then it was just that position that she put me in. It was either, take her out or sit there and watch her kill these Marines, which I would never let myself live it down.
Son, I don't think that the universe is sometimes fair when I hear a young man like you protecting us being put in a situation like that. All I can tell you is that, a lot of people love you for putting yourself in that position. A lot of people owe everything they have to guys like you. That is so otherworldly to me as I hear it, and I hear your voice retell it. I just think, my God, what a world it is that young men are put in those positions. But can I just say thank you that the world has gone mad, and men like you putting yourselves in harm's way and having to make just unbelievably, forget difficult, let's just say impossible decisions. I just want to thank you for it, and I want to thank you for having to take that throughout your life and think about it and mull it over and make that decision. And God bless you, my friend. I'm blown away by you, Chris Cow. Blown away.
Well, thank you, sir. And, throughout the book, these stories are my stories, but they're not unique to me. This is something that every service member who goes into combat faces, and that's what I'm trying to get out there to say, we owe these guys so much, and not just a thank you, but random acts of kindness to show your thanks. Cook them a meal, mow their yard, babysit so they can nap or go on a date, anything. Just take it that one extra step. So now you're going to blow them away thinking, oh, people really care.
Well, we do, my friend. I want you to enjoy every day of your life and know that many men don't get the call. Many men get the call, and they don't go there. And many men get the call and go there and acquit themselves so admirably that the rest of us are all in their throes for the rest of our life. Thank you. Thank you, Chris Cow.
Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right, God bless you. Chris Cow, American Sniper, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. It's unbelievable that young people put in those situations on this world. It is even more unbelievable to me that they acquit themselves in so many admirable ways. God, can you imagine those decisions? You think about what we whine about in the real world and the quandaries that are given to these men and women in a second, and them stepping up and doing it for us. And then they have to ruminate about that for the rest of their days. They have to, mull that over. They have to think about that. And we, the lucky recipients, I'm in awe of that. That story reduces me. It humbles me. God bless that there are people like that. Chris Cow, American Sniper. Back after this, Dennis Miller Show.